The light is fading. The coldness creeps back into the world. At the end of October, the solar god of many names begins to fall into shadow. Darkness floods in as the earth goddess bestows the last boon of harvest, so that her children might be sustained through the dark of winter before the plants weather and another cycle concludes. So, welcome to our Samhain Special.
Yay.
From your good friends at the Love Not Fear team.
All you need is love. La,
Love
la,
is
la,
all
la.
you need.
All you need is love. La,
All
la,
together
la, la.
now.
All you need is love.
Love. Love is all you need.
Yay! And Andrew's book. Have you got your book,
Well,
Jack?
I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm joined by my gorgeous co-host Annie Day, who's written two scrumptious books.
Orgasmic Health and Your Guide to Feeling Fabulous Fast.
And Andrew Paul Smith, who's written
Unmute yourself. It's love.
Love.
It's a collection of poetry and essays, all with the theme of love, and in its very many different formats.
It is indeed.
And we're also joined tonight by Kenneth Kendrick, who's just this second entered the room.
Hey,
hello.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hello, Kenneth.
Hey there. How's everybody?
We're very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Okay.
Go for it, Jack.
So the sun god has gone away, no longer breathing life into the world, estranged from his holy union with the earth goddess, who now takes on her dark mother aspect. I just want to say before we get all into this, that I've been really peed off the last few days on the social media with some of the bigoted posts that people are putting out about witches, because it's Halloween, isn't it, in their world? And some of them have even claimed that witches eat children, which of course is absolute nonsense. Witches are the healers.
Again, inversion.
The healers and the teachers of the wisdom of the earth.
Yeah, indeed. And
so
with nature spirits.
I have actually reported those memes to Facebook, although I don't suppose any action will be taken.
But good for you for saying it, Jack. Good for you for saying it.
I mean, criticise Islam and it'll be taken down straight away.
Yeah.
Criticise paganism and nobody gives a toss. But anyway, moving swiftly on.
We do, darling.
So in the Irish tradition, the pagan festival of Samhain, meaning summer's end, is observed on October the 31st, when the summer goes to its rest.
Yeah.
The final battle between the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians, in which the Fomorians were defeated and purged from Ireland, took place on Samhain. When the Celtic Milesians arrived from Iberia, the Tuatha De Danann took refuge in the other world and became the fairy folk, or the Sidhe. Now, nobody really knows what those people were, but they were supposed to be very magical fairy type people.
Yeah.
So Samhain was originally a collection or a celebration in the Tuatha De Danann calendar, which was later incorporated into Celtic and Gaelic practice. Indeed, there's little evidence of Samhain being celebrated further east in the Celtic world in ancient times. The mound of the hostages, located on the hill of Tara, which is somewhere that Annie and I both love.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Dates back 5,000 years, roughly 3,000 years before the Celtic people arrived in Ireland.
Yeah.
This site is astronomically aligned with the sun on October the 31st, whose morning rays shine directly into the main chamber. Evidence of a pre-Celtic Irish culture can be seen in many of the mound sites around Ireland. These were most likely used for worship and for the interment of important people.
Yeah.
Many of these ancient sites are aligned with the solar calendar, such that the rays of the rising and the setting sun cast into key features of the structure during the solstices and equinoxes and other important dates. They stand as a testament to the astronomical and architectural prowess of the ancients.
Indeed.
While we know that Samhain is a major Irish pagan festival, which is celebrated to this day, it seems not to have been the case for surrounding countries which also saw Celtic migration. I just want to say quickly that we did a big Samhain special last year. So if you want to get some of the more basic material, please look that show up. We're not just repeating here what we said last year. We're trying to bring in some new information.
Yeah, we've got some exciting stuff, haven't we, Jack?
Indeed, the spread of Samhain beyond Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, and the Isle of Man only occurred with the pagan revival in the last century. This diminishes the possibility of Samhain being a broadly Celtic festival in early times. Indeed, the migrating Celts may well have assimilated or blended into the traditions of the people they lived among. It was probably more of a peaceful migration than an invasion.
Yeah.
We need more of those today.
Absolutely.
Efforts were often made by ancient people to aid the dead in their journey to the afterlife. So choosing hills for burials would make sense.
Yeah.
Places of elevation are often seen as being closer to the spirit world. These places are the mounds of the bright folk. In the tale of Finn McCall, he travels to a fairy fort where many men had vanished after seeking the queen of the hill. There he witnesses a doorway open up and a glowing fire within. So we have to think what that's symbolic of.
Indeed.
For the Celts and many agrarian cultures, religion was intimately connected with the seasons and the cycle of growth.
Yeah.
In autumn, the people had to produce and store large stockpiles of food in order to survive the winter. The crops were harvested and a portion of livestock slaughtered. They only used to keep alive the very fittest animals as breeding stock for the following year.
Yeah.
The rest was slaughtered and salted down for winter food.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have any food to eat to get them through the winter times, would they?
Absolutely. So the weakest of the herd was culled to provide food and to reduce strain on the stores of grain.
Yeah.
So this is very much part of the Samhain tradition.
Yeah.
After the last harvest of the year, there will be a great feast to mark the occasion. Despite the dark undertones of the season, Samhain was a jubilant affair, an act of passionate defiance against the foreboding gloom of the coming winter. The time for war and trade had come to an end. The harvest had been completed, and so it was an ideal time for local chieftains to gather their tribes for grand assemblies. These gatherings would go on for days, with meetings and games and amusements and entertainment and eating and feasting.
And mead.
Mead. There was also said to be much boasting and brawling.
Well, I like the sound of all the rest of it. I'm not so sure I'd have been in for the boasting and the brawling, really. I don't think I'm really cut out for that.
And perhaps the fairy folk too hold their own festivities and games during.
Oh, of course, indeed.
Pagans then, as now, tend to prefer revelry rather than piety.
Good.
Probably why we're pagans. Seasonal farm workers, Samhain was the end of the working season, when farmers, herders, maids and servants received their biannual wages and returned home after a long stint of isolation and toil. The belief in the temporary suspension of natural law seems to automatically coincide with the anonymity of mask wearing, which is very much part of the Samhain traditions. Temporarily assuming a new identity and giving human beings a comfortable outlet through which they could express their desires.
Ooh, I like the sound of that, Jack Cox.
Ah. So, just as the veil between the worlds thinned at Samhain, so too did the veil between the conscious and the subconscious mind, allowing for unself-conscious expression of desire.
Woo woo.
Well, have a pint of that. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed, in occult circles, unself-conscious revelry is often believed to be a link to the divine. In Gaelic Irish mythology, we see the onset of winter expressed in both the deities of the sun and the earth. In autumn, as the things that grow begin to wither and die, people turn their attention towards the contemplation of death and what lies beyond the transience of mortality. As earthly life faded, people felt that the spirit world was drawing closer, and passage between this world and the next became possible during this time. We always believe that the veil is thinnest at this time of year. For this reason, Samhain is considered to be an auspicious time for interaction between human beings and the gods, fairies, and beings of the other world. This is indicated in a number of Celtic tales which take place on Samhain, in which the characters of the story are approached and confronted by a variety of otherworldly beings. Just talking a little bit about the thinning of the veil, we talked a lot about, I talked at the beginning a little bit about Halloween and Samhain.
Yeah.
And in the Catholic world, Samhain is still very much a time for honouring the ancestors.
Yeah.
It's a time when people visit the graves of their family members who have died.
Yeah. And November the 1st is All Saints' Day.
Yeah, and commune with them.
Yeah.
It's only really in the Protestant world that this silly Halloween thing where they're scared of death and try to scare off all the nasties that they think are coming through. There's a complete inversion of what the festival's all about.
It's honouring our ancestors and I don't know, our lineage.
Yeah. Another aspect of this metaphysical shift was that the laws of nature are said to be temporarily suspended, allowing supernatural feats that otherwise could not be performed. The mythical character Angus was said to transform himself into a swan at Samhain in an attempt to woo a daughter of the gods. The apparent barrier between the worlds that seemingly becomes thin or impenetrable at this time is often referred to as a veil.
Yeah.
Now, this reminds us of the bridal veil of the Egyptian goddess Isis,
Yeah.
wife of the solar god Osiris. Isis, the Virgin Mother, nature personified,
Yeah.
behind which the secrets of the mysteries of creation are kept. The same themes keep reoccurring, don't they, in different traditions?
Yeah, absolutely, darling.
The words inscribed on her effigy read, "I am all that has been and shall be, and no mortal man has ever lifted my mantle."
Oh.
Mm. She represents supreme wisdom and understanding, holding the keys to the secrets of the universe. Now, a parallel can be drawn here with the Celtic goddess of winter, the Celtic, the veiled one, who rules in partnership with Bridget, the goddess of spring, assuming her role at Samhain until Beltane. Indeed, Bridget and the Celtic can be considered to be the light and dark aspects of the same goddess.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Not everybody agrees on that, by the way.
But it's a good idea, isn't it?
I find it interesting.
Yeah, me.
Makes sense to me. It's a bit like the Oak King and the Holly King.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Demeter and Persephone.
Yeah.
That one hands over to the other
Yeah.
as the season changes. Samhain falls at the end of the harvest season, halfway between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. This is a time to seek the favour of the gods and ensure good fortune during the coming months of darkness. It marks the beginning of the dark half of the year.
Yeah.
The Indo-European traditions mark 4 solar holidays, seen in various forms, which mark the midpoint of the seasons. And there are also 4 other festivals marking the change of the season. And Samhain is one of those.
Indeed.
Well, that's all I've got, Annie.
Okay.
So, what do you got for us?
Ooh, exciting stuff, or I think it's exciting anyway. So why do people celebrate Samhain? The Celts saw Samhain as a festival of the dead, celebrating with bonfires, gatherings and feasts. It was a time of death and rebirth. Communities looked to connect with deceased loved ones and otherworldly spirits. Due to the spread of Christianity, November the 1st later became All Saints' Day. Celebrate with a bonfire. We like fire, don't we? We like fire. Samhain is one of 4 fire festivals in the pagan calendar: Samhain, Imbolc, Beltane and Lammas. The ancient Celts believed Samhain to be the most important, as it was the end of the harvest and beginning of the old new year. Traditionally, on October the 31st, families would let the fires in their hearths go out as they gathered the last crops of the season. Children would go from door to door asking for donations of kindling, food and drink. The following day, massive bonfires would be lit on sacred hilltops and offerings would be made in honour of the gods. Animals and crops would often be burnt in sacrifice. The Druids believed a bonfire would welcome good spirits, whilst the sacrifices would keep evil spirits away. This Samhain ritual can be celebrated in so many ways. The flame is an essential tool for anyone, whether burning worries away or using candle magic. So one of the things I always do at Samhain and some of the other festivals as well is I write down all the things that are concerning me, that are worrying me, that are of a negative nature. So things like, you know, insomnia, a cough, whatever it is, you write it down and then you have a little bonfire outside, basically. And just the act of letting go of those things that do not serve us and that we want them to go, the ritual of burning something is very primal, basically. So what you do is you write down all the things that you don't want anymore, screw them up into a ball, throw them on your fire, basically. And then what you can do is, to make it that real yin-yang principle, is to write down all the things that you're manifesting. So you could host a festival, a feast, or a dumb supper. The festivals of Samhain place great importance on honouring the dead. Celtic traditions included a large feast with places set for lost loved ones. Their plates and cups would be filled, while families took advantage of this opportunity to sit with lost loved ones. Some pagans choose to observe this ritual as a dumb supper, meaning the meal is held in silence and used as a time of reflection. Participants would usually bring a note to burn for their deceased. I've been to a dumb supper.
Oh, yeah.
It's not for me. I'd much rather people were chattering and, you know, being really, you know, expressing gratitude that the harvest is in and all the rest of it. So actually being quiet for 2.5 hours wasn't really doing it for me. Surprisingly, Jack, I'm sure.
I can't see that working for you, Annie. Somehow I can't see that working for you.
When they first said, do you want to come to a dumb supper? I was like, how dumb do you have to be to come to this supper? I don't know. I'm a very intelligent woman, so I don't know. But yes, it was to keep quiet. So, you know, I tried it. I won't be doing it again. I'd much rather be singing and dancing and revelry. So, how do other countries celebrate Samhain? Mexico has Dia de los Muertos. El Dia de los Muertos falls between October the 31st through to November the 2nd, when families can briefly be reunited with the souls of their deceased relatives. It is believed that on the Day of the Dead, the border, or veil as we're describing it, between spirits and the living dissolves, allowing time for families to eat, drink and dance with their loved ones. Families leave favourite food and other offerings at gravesides or on ofrendas built in their homes, which may be decorated with candles and bright marigolds. So there's a lot of emphasis on the element of fire. And then Ireland and Scotland, Samhain, a Gaelic festival marking the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter. Samhain celebrations begin the evening of October the 31st and last through to November the 2nd. Similar to the Day of the Dead, it is believed that during this time, the spirit world and the living are able to intermingle. Samhain was first mentioned in early Irish literature, dating back to the 9th century, where it was said that the celebration was marked by gathering involving opened burial mounds, which were considered at the time to be portals to the spirit world. What do you think of that, Jack?
Yeah. We need to just say, Annie, that written records were written down by the Christian monks.
Right.
The earlier of Celtic traditions were never written down.
No, it was all done by oral tradition.
They had writing.
Yeah.
They had writing, but they never wrote down anything sacred.
Yeah. And they would pass it down by their oral tradition, wouldn't they?
So the accounts that were written by the Christian monks were somewhat skewed according to the filter that they were looking at it through.
Yeah. So Japan and Halloween trains. Since Tokyo first hosted its first Halloween celebrations in 2000, the holiday has grown in popularity across the country. Because trick-or-treating does not take place, most of the fun is left to the adults. Celebrated through street parties, parades, home gatherings, citizens show off their creative skills through elaborate costumes. One of the more unexpected places of celebration are trains, typically a quiet place to catch a ride usually, but during Halloween, trains are transformed into places of celebration with unique themes, think spooky characters. So some of the images that came with this, the Japanese Halloween trains, they got people dressed up as skeletons and ghosts and all sorts of lovely things. So Italy, the celebration of Samhain is called Ognissanti. Celebrated on November the 1st, Ognissanti is how Italy celebrates All Saints' Day. Dating back to the 4th century AD, Ognissanti is a day for Italians to honour the martyrs and saints. The following day, November the 2nd, is known as Giorno dei Morti, or Day of the Dead. Although this is primarily a time to be with family, attend masses, each region has its own rituals and tradition. In Sicily, it's believed that the dead bring sweets or small gifts to well-behaved children. And in the Lombardy region, it's customary to leave a vase full of water in the kitchen for the dead to drink when they visit during the night. I don't know quite what the significance is of leaving ghost drinks of water, but there you go. Guatemala.
I think that's important. You're inviting the ancestors to come back, aren't you?
Yeah.
To have a meal with you or to spend time with you.
Yeah. So yeah, them filling vases of water in the kitchen for the dead to drink when they visit during the night is what they do. And then Guatemala, Festival de Barriletas Gigantes, a colourful celebration. Guatemala's Barriletas Gigantes is a festival held at the beginning of November to honour All Saints' Day and the Day of the Dead. Vibrant handmade kites soar over the cemeteries of Santiago, Zacatapuesta, and Sumpango. The kite flying practice is said to be 3,000 years old tradition, was believed to be a way to communicate with the deceased. The kites are works of art constructed of paper, cloth patches, bamboo, and representing symbols of their ancestry and contemporary social issues. The Philippines and Panganulwa. Panganulwa is a Filipino practice for honouring souls that have passed. On the evening of All Saints' Day, November the 1st, children dress up in a white sheet to look like ghosts or souls stuck in purgatory. They knock on doors to sing and ask for prayers. Sometimes the children also receive treats. I suspect that's why they're doing it.
I expect so.
Pangalwana is also a time for families to gather at cemeteries to remember their loved ones, with plenty of food, games, and shared stories of their loved ones from the past. And I really like that. You know, most of us have got loved ones that have passed over, And just remembering some of the funny things or the significant things that they used to do, I think is a really lovely way of connecting with them, particularly at Samhain, isn't it?
Well, that's what this season is supposed to be about.
Exactly that, isn't it? So I really like that. Costa Rica, Dia Nacional de la Mascarada Costarricense. Every October the 31st, Dia de la Mascarada is celebrated throughout Costa Rica. Participants wear large, colourful, handmade masks and dance through the streets to folk music. This is said to be a 200-year-old tradition traced back to pre-Columbian customs and carnivals. The most significant parades occur in Cartago, Essazu, and Bava de Jereda, well-known cities for their great mask-making skills. These aren't your typical masks, but rather intricate, oversized papier-mâché heads representing characters from either pop culture, mythology, and political figures. The Cimarron band's music played during the parade is one of Costa Rica's oldest traditions. And then Austria. Austria has a pumpkin festival, Kürbisfest im Retzeland. Austria has a pumpkin festival in Retzeland called Kürbisfest im Retzeland on November the 11th. Austria celebrates Martini, which includes costumes and a lantern procession. Some people in Austria believe that if they leave bread, water, and a lighted lamp out, dead souls will be welcomed back to earth for that night. Belgium is called Halloween and All Saints' Day. In Belgium, some villages celebrate Halloween, while other villages focus on celebrating All Saints' Day. On Halloween night, a Belgian may be found lighting a candle in memory of a dead relative. Canada celebrates Halloween. In Canada, the Halloween celebration began with the Scots and Irish immigrants who arrived in the 1800s. Canada actively celebrates Halloween each year on October the 31st with decorations, costume parties, trick-or-treating, and bobbing of apples. China has the Hungry Ghost Festival and the Qing Ming Festival, the Double Ninth Festival, and the Spring Festival. Halloween was first introduced in China, it is said, through foreigners such as teachers and expats. In places that have many expats, there will usually be Halloween decor. The more popular of the dead are celebrated in festivals such as the Hungry Ghost Festival, the Qing Ming Festival, and the Double Ninth Festival, and the Spring Festival. England, Mischief Night. The trick-or-treat custom originated in England, known as Mischief Night. Whereas Americans carved pumpkins, English children would carve designs out of large beets, which were known as punkies. I bet that was a lot harder than pumpkins. I bet that was a lot harder than pumpkins, doing it on anything.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
Doing it anything like that would be really hard, wouldn't it? Then France, Halloween, it's not a tradition really in France. As Halloween is not really a French holiday, there is some controversy pertaining to October the 31st festivities. This holiday is a new trend for some of the French, and they celebrate with costume parties and dressing in scary outfits. Germany, Halloween auf Deutsch. Halloween and Dutch became popular in the 1990s. People started to decorate around mid-October and used Halloween as an invitation for a party theme. On November the 11th, Germans celebrate Martinstag, which includes costumes and a lantern-lit procession. I like the sound of that.
Sounds like fun.
Lovely, doesn't it? Samhain is considered to have originated in Ireland. There are many similarities between how Halloween is celebrated in Ireland and the USA, yet the Irish still have their own unique traditions. Apart from trick-or-treating, children also play a trick known as knock-a-dolly, which involves children knocking on their neighbour's door and running away before they answer them. In Birmingham, we used to call it knock door run.
I bet you had a wonderful time in Birmingham as a kid.
I didn't know that it wasn't possibly the best things little kids could be doing, really, to scare people, but that's what we used to do. Knock on the door really loud and then run off. Yeah, seemed like a good plan at the time, is all I can tell you. But clearly, as this what shall I say, originated in Ireland, and I happen to be of Celtic ancestry, you know, I can't take any blame for it because the fairies made me do it, Jack.
That's always a good excuse.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Additionally, the Irish play a card game on Halloween whereby kids will choose a card and receive whatever prize is indicated on it. The Irish traditionally eat a fruit cake called barnbrack on this day, which is so delish. Barnbrack is has a treat baked inside the cake, and depending on which treat is inside will foretell the future of whoever receives it. So traditionally in my family, the Christmas cake would have charms in, or money in, or little crystals or whatever that were wrapped up in silver foil and then put into the cake, basically. So the barnbrack was kind of like that, but done only at Halloween or Samhain. So yeah, that used to be loads of fun.
We used to have a silver sixpence or threepenny bit.
Yeah.
It shows my age, but anyway, yeah.
But didn't you feel special when you found your bit of silver foil with your lovely thing in? I know at one point they weren't wrapped in silver foil. My grandfather used to get these little tiny silver charms and put them in, but eventually my grandma decided that that was possibly going to cause somebody to swallow it because they didn't really notice it. So yes, he reverted to covering it in silver foil, basically, but really, really tasty as well.
We never had silver foil. We just had them stuck straight in.
Yeah. I'm sure that is what used to happen, and then I think my grandma decided that we needed that to protect us. But I don't think any of the Coley girls would have swallowed a sixpence or a threepenny bit or a silver charm, because we were very clever at sifting through our beautiful cakes, basically. So Korea Shuzek Harvest Festival is celebrated in the last weekend of October. Halloween is not particularly celebrated in Korea. However, Korea has a harvest festival called Chuseok, which means Korean for Thanksgiving Day. During Chuseok, Koreans visit the places where their ancestors used to live and feast on traditional Korean food and drink. I like the sound of that.
Absolutely.
In Italy, fave di morte cookies were once made from fava beans, but now they are made with almonds, which sounds far more appetizing. I'm not a great one for fava beans, to be honest. They're a bit. Whereas almonds, yeah, I'm completely okay with almonds.
I do love those, yeah.
However, Korea has a harvest festival that is all about Thanksgiving for the harvest. We've got to Italy. So on All Saints' Day, which is also the day on which relatives would visit and maintain the graves of their relatives, sometimes dressed in black, in some parts of Italy, men would send their fiancés boxes of these little fave de morte cookies, also containing an engagement ring. It is a popular day to pop the question. Palermo in Sicily celebrates by sending children's gifts that are said to be from the dead, such as sweets, and in turn people will leave gifts on the graves of their dead relatives. Let us all enjoy celebrating these traditions with family and friends. Simply put together a meal, enjoy those beautiful memories from those who have passed over the Rainbow Bridge. Doesn't have to be a somber event. Many see it more as a celebration of life. So what are your plans for celebrating this Samhain?
There you go. In the comments, please, everybody, put what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
And then, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't show you some books. I don't have any books on Samhain, but I thought that you'd love this, Jack, although it will make you laugh and probably cough. Can you see it? It's
Fucking therapy.
Therapy. Pocket Therapy is by John C. Parkin, and it is the profane way to profound happiness. And most of us are trapped in prisons of our own making, caring too much about things that do not really matter and forgetting about our hopes and dreams. Fuck It helps you escape by getting things into perspective, turning it into what we really want and going for it no matter what others think. So I thoroughly recommend that. And then there's another one that might you laugh as well, Jack. So this is Roger's Profanisaurus. It is a fully revived, expanded and bang up-to-date edition of the most foul-mouthed dictionary of swearing ever to shame the shelves of our bookshops. A rich and deeply compelling work, according to Terry Jones. So I just thought that it would be, we're all about keeping our vibration high, aren't we, lovely Jack?
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought I'll find two books that will make Jack laugh, but Roger's Profanisaurus, I love it because it's set up like a dictionary. Oh no, perhaps I don't want to read that. A gypsy's eyelash is the rogue clock spring in the Jap's eye that causes your urine to go everywhere but in the toilet. So yeah, if you're interested, it's Roger's Profanisaurus and Fuck It Therapy by, what was this man's name? John Parkin. And they are very, very funny. They are very, very funny books, and we're all about funniness, aren't we?
That's
So
brilliant. Thank you, Annie.
You're travelling tomorrow, aren't you, lovely Jack?
No, I'm travelling on Wednesday.
Oh, sorry, I've jumped today. Today. I'm making it come round even quicker.
Yeah, it's travelling on Wednesday. So next Monday, I will be broadcasting from Glastonbury.
Yay! Fantastic.
So rather looking forward to that.
So you might be doing all sorts of lovely things in Glastonbury. I'm going to have tomorrow night. I'm going to have a chimney party. So me and my friends are going to have a chimney in the garden, irrespective of the rain, wind, hail. I've been to Hailingdon and got some giant pine cones that are full of pine sap. So we're going to enjoy having a lovely, lovely bonfire in my little chimney. I'm going to force them to eat chocolate and cakes. And I have a bottle of no secco. Because you know what my tolerance level is like. I can have one drop and then I'm completely trashed.
Then you're anybody's, yeah, okay.
So my lovely sister for my birthday bought me no secco. And if I hadn't have known that it definitely didn't have any alcohol in it at all, it really tasted lovely. So yeah, we're going to have a bottle of that. And I can pretend that I'm drinking.
Are you celebrating tomorrow, Andrew?
Well, probably mentioned this last year, but November the 2nd is my birthday. So we celebrate November 2nd. Thank you very much. We celebrate every year in our family because it's my birthday. November the 5th, we used to have a bonfire outside the house where I grew up, and it was on the cobbles, and all our friends, family brought fireworks, so it was a massive firework display.
Yeah.
And there was ginger cake and gingerbread men and plot toffee and jacket potatoes. It was wonderful. And then my dad said, "We can't have a party for you this year, Andrew." I said, "Why not?" He said, "They've tarmacked the street."
Oh, bugger.
So
that's not going to help.
All year round, there was a black mark on the cobbles where my bonfire had been. So this year, November the 5th, my father-in-law says he's bringing fireworks. I think he's kidding, but we're going to have pizza. So got all the family. My brother's coming down from Bradford, and we're going to have the house full. Yeah. But I was thinking about this. Halloween is All Hallows Eve, and then there's All Saints Day, and then there's All Souls Day. November 2nd has been called All Souls Day. So I'm A. Smith, born on All Souls Day. You can't get any more everyman than that. So I'm everyman.
How wonderful, Andrew.
I know. I'm the lowest common denominator.
No, the highest common denominator.
Thank you so much.
And what about you, Kenneth? What are you going to be doing, Kenneth?
Probably just trying to commune with the ancestors, since that, the veil will be more open than other times of the year. And just I guess giving thanks for their sacrifices and just allowing me to be here.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, by the way, Andrew, happy birthday in advance, and enjoy your family time.
So thank you everybody for coming and contributing.
And thank you, Jack, for valiantly carrying on with you when you weren't feeling too good.
I've had this cold now for a month, so I've got to get on with life. So thank you, Annie, for being my wonderful co-host, as always.
Very much my pleasure, darling.
And to Andrew and Kenneth for your contributions. And next week, we're going to be, I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week.
I don't know. We'll be in November, won't we?
We'll be in November. So
maybe we could talk about poor Guy Fawkes.
Well, you could talk about Guy Fawkes and whether he can be resurrected.
Oh, I think we're so in need of him now, Jack, to be honest.
We need somebody we certainly need somebody with his skills.
Oh, we certainly do.
And they say he's the only man to enter the Houses of Parliament with the correct idea.
Yes.
Yeah. The only one with honest intentions.
It is exactly
right. So until next week, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps us get out to more people.
Indeed.
And we'll see you all again next week. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.